Hi everyone, Assassination Attempt here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Open Mike Eagle EP, What Happens When I Try to Relax. This is a new EP from one of the wittiest underground rappers operating today, Open Mike Eagle, who has been killing it as of late with his last few records being some of his best so far, especially his previous on Mellow Music Group Brick Body Kid Still Daydream, one of his most emotionally potent projects so far where he goes back into his past, into his childhood, into his stomping grounds, raps about where he grew up. And even though this album is really good, Mike's latest efforts see him scaling back to a more independent hustle. Whether it be his demo cassette, the Dark Dark Purple Tape, or this new self-released EP over here. The reason I bring up the change of pace in how Mike is releasing his music is because it's kind of an important part of his personality type. He is a self-starter, he's a doer, he's a podcaster. He is a hands-on creative, which is something that might not necessarily come across right away when he is entertaining his followers with brainy rhymes and left-field beats. But this new EP is not your typical Open Mike Eagle release. The production has a very glossy sheen to it. It's very glimmery, it is very synthetic, like Open Mike Eagle is broadcasting his rhymes from a digital utopian future, or maybe just from inside his head, in which is located a cybernetic brain. And I say we're in Mike Eagle's head on this release because this is easily one of his most personal and intimate and revealing projects so far, as a good chunk of the bars on this EP deal directly with Mike's plans and concerns and aspirations, his anxieties. Getting to his own core through song with his audience definitely seems to be a focus on the opening track, Relatable. I'm not really that crazy about the wintry, computerized beat, but I do think it is a somewhat interesting contrast from Open Mike Eagle's over-the-top delivery and his fluid triplet flows. And as the song title suggests, the track is about relatability, with Mike bringing up what he watches, what he wears, where he lives. And it feels like he's bringing these things up because he feels like he's not being accepted. He feels invisible to a degree. I don't know if this is as a result of some kind of performer complex or just generally feeling like somebody who is isolated or lonely. Either way, it makes the track really bittersweet because there are these underlying implications of desperation, but simultaneously some of the lyrical content about Mike's very average life, talking about having a vegetable stuck in the garbage disposal and needing to call the professional. It's really funny and honestly makes for one of his smartest tracks conceptually so far. Mike's whole thought process through this song is also very fevered, it's tense, and I think truly gets to the heart of what the title of this EP is. All the weird, busy, distracting, existential thoughts that fly through Mike's brain whenever he's not on or he's not trying to actively entertain anyone. And this is displayed by all of these dreamy, easygoing, soft and pretty synthesizers paired with very antsy and passionate rapping. We also catch this same theme all over again on the track Every Single Thing, where Mike is essentially rapping about his audience or the listener understanding, accepting, I guess getting to the core of who and what he is. Pause me, learn me 100%, predict me, get me 100%, complete me, eat me 100%, defeat me, delete me, another attempt. At least that's my read on the track. Also keep in mind that the hook of this song, according to Open Mike Eagle's Twitter, was video game inspired, given the repetition, attempt, failure, trial, tribulation. There are also a lot of lyrics on the verses of this track dealing in racism and marginalization. The track also features winning bars like "The economy killed the rhyme star. I'm privileged, born with the silver time card. About as high as I held my heroes, I put my chips on myself like Pete Rose." The track is also paired with an enchanting chorus, these chimey lead synth melodies that faintly ring out against a very deep ocean of bass, as well as super atmospheric synth chords. The song Single Ghosts is kind of a weird topical shift for the EP. The track seems to feature this fictional exchange with a ghost asking, why are they here? Do they drink? There's a point where Mike's lyrics imply that there's like a bit of a romantic connection going on here between him and the ghost. And then there's a portion of the song where it seems like he's remembering back to a time when this person was alive as if he knew this person before. The sound and vibe of this EP stays relatively eerie on the track Southside Eagle, though lyrically the track is more focused on Mike's attempts and efforts as a creative and an entertainer. Talking about checking last year's numbers, seeing Kendrick but not saying anything because this underground hustle that he has is adjacent. Also saying that with his music he's trying to reach black kids but in a room or with a room full of whites. Basically getting to the heart of this disconnect in intention or just reception, in that he has his audience he wants to reach, but then there's the audience he's actually reaching. There were a few other tracks on this EP slash album. It's a project. Open Mike Eagle isn't strictly calling it an EP. It's a bunch of music on a thing. There are a few songs on this bunch of music on a thing that I found a little underwhelming, mostly because of the production. There are moments where compositionally I think it's really fitting and pretty, but the aesthetic, the sound of the drums, the sound of the synths, how light and airy and hollow a lot of the beats on this thing feel, it doesn't really do all that much for me. Not the best set of instrumentals that I've heard Mike on so far, though I do appreciate he does stick to a pretty clear instrumental style for this handful of songs. I still like the EP quite a bit though. I think it's an interesting mini chapter in the ongoing Mike Eagle saga. Considering the topics at hand, it just feels like Mike is barely scratching the surface with the handful of cuts that he's offered. I think most of Mike's hardcore fans will get a lot out of this project. The lyrics certainly put a lot of what I have known about him through his music into perspective. Though personally I prefer and would first recommend any number of his most recent releases over this to a newcomer, to a new listener. I'm feeling a light 7 on this thing. Transition. Have you given this EP a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best. You're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe. And please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Open Mike Eagle, forever.